We are still all reeling from the massacre and the death of the murder of four rabbis in Israel, in Shul, who were in the middle of davening: Rabbi Moshe Twersky, Rabbi Avram Shmuel Goldberg, Rabbi Aryeh Kapinski, Rabbi Kalman Levine, and also the first responder policeman, Zaidan Saif, a Druze policeman who was a traffic policeman and came in and was killed. And also we pray for the refuah shlema of Chaim Yechiel ben Malka, Esan ben Sarah, Shmuel Yerucham ben Bela, Avram Shmuel ben Shena, Aryeh ben Bracha, who are hopefully on the road to recovery, all of them in hospital with very serious wounds. And our learning should be for their schus, for their merit. It just hit me after davening this morning. You may not have noticed, the Kohen was tying his shoes. And I thought to myself, in Israel also, after davening, the Kohanim tie their shoes. Why is that? There's no specific law about tying your shoes after davening. Most of us tie them before davening. But going in Israel one time, I saw a person walking and his shoes weren't tied. And I said, "Oh, you're a Kohen." He said, "How did you know?" I said, "Your shoes aren't tied." Because in Israel, Birchas Kohanim, the bracha by the Kohanim, the bracha of God to the Jewish people, is given every single day. And we, living in Chutz La'aretz, outside the land of Israel, only do it on the holidays because, as the Ramah says, we're then leaving Shul and we're happy. Of course, not because we're leaving Shul that we're happy. It's just that we are in the spirit of celebration, and we're going to have our meal, and that gives us this reason for the celebration. We're more able to receive the bracha. But in Israel, the bracha is given every single day because they are always in celebration, and we outside only on Yom Tov. And yet sometimes it seems to us the other way around. But the truth is, the fact is, that in Israel they are in celebration, even with all the difficulties that go on. They have a way in which they are able to see God's hand with perhaps more understanding. It's a local call, as people used to say, to heaven from there. The morning after the massacre, there was a bris that took place in that very same shul, the B'nai Torah shul, and the child was named Yisrael Meir after one of his great-grandparents, because the parents who don't normally go to that shul nonetheless said, "We're going to make the bris in that shul particularly to show how we go on with strength." And those words and our concept of that should be, as we said, a schus for the refuah shlema, complete healing of those wounded, the soak in the midst of Cholei Yisrael, all of those who are sick and need a refuah. A good and happy and pleasant day to us, both in Chutz La'aretz and in the land of Israel.
Shikaya.